So let's establish this fact that John chapter 4 verse 24 says, "For God is a spirit." God is not a human being. God is not something that you can touch. Of course, you can feel his presence. You can touch God through people. The way people reflect his goodness, the way people reflect his kindness, the way people reflect the character of God. You can touch God through people. You can see God. For God is a spirit. God resides in the realm of the spirit. For his worshippers shall worship him in spirit and truth. So we are going to understand that God cannot be in the physical realm, but he can affect the physical realm. So we establish this fact that God is spirit. Of course, we have three parts. We are spirit. The true us is a spirit. We have a soul and we live in a body. That's a fact. Hebrews chapter 11 verse 6.
No one can please God without faith, for whoever comes to God must have faith.
Hebrews 11 says, "For without faith, no one can do it."
Okay, no one can please God. No one can
please God. God is spirit. John chapter 4 verse 24. Hebrews 11 says, "For without faith, it is impossible to please God." So the question was, where do we meet God? Where is the kingdom of God? Where is the domain of God? But the domain of God is where God resides. The domain of God is where God rules, is where God reigns. Of course, God resides in us, God dwells in us. For without faith, it's impossible to please God. That's where he resides. That's where he rules. When you have faith, you can meet God. Now, faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. When I pray and I ask something, I need to go to in that place, which is faith. That's where God unleashes his power. That's where God fills me with his power for me to operate in his domain. Because when I operate in the domain of God, the thing that I'm asking for, I cannot see, become reality in that realm. For now, faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. Faith makes what I cannot see visible, real, because that's where God resides. So, what is the domain of God? The domain of God is faith. The domain of God is faith. The kingdom of God is faith. That's where I meet God. That's where I communicate with God. That's where I touch God. For without faith, it is impossible to please God. For those that come to God must have faith. Otherwise, you cannot please him, you cannot meet him. Where does God reside? The kingdom of God is faith, is where God resides. The domain, the kingship, the domain of God is the realm of faith.